Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
So glad to have you guys back. Welcome. We have so many changes for you guys. So first up, the biggest change, our name, the Jay and Mark Show. I think, we just want to cover so many things and, it's time to change and we're ready. So here we go.
But let them know real quick, the quick format is we're going to hit you off still with the topics of the week. We're just going to narrow it down and just tell you about the hot stuff, because you don't need to know about that other stuff. And then we're going to focus in with a main topic.
Okay. So starting it off this week, hot topics for the week. On Monday, the biggest scandal was Demi Lovato making a big stink about a Froyo company's titles for their yogurt. I guess they said guilt-free or something like that. And she said it was extremely triggering for her. And she couldn't get her Froyo and boo-hoo, sob story. But long story short, if you actually followed it, it turns out she was in the wrong. It was really saying guilt-free for diabetics so they can have like sugary considered treats without the guilt. So it backfired on her. She got a lot of backlash. Honestly, Demi girl, you're messy. This California sober thing that you got going, I don't think it's working for you, honey. I'm sensing another relapse soon. God forbid, but good luck to you, girl. Jay, hit him with the big news on Tuesday.
So, the big news on Tuesday. Derek Chauvin has been declared guilty on all 3 charges. So that was the verdict. Honestly, yes, clap, because some justice was brought forth for George Floyd. But you know what? It's a long time coming, and we're going to cover more of that later. So we're just going to go on to the next topic.
So while the following day, so this is why we're hesitant to really applaud and be excited. The following day, as many of you have already heard, a 16-year-old girl named Ma'Khia Bryant was shot and fatally by a police officer. And basically, for some context, she was in a foster home. She got into an altercation with, foster siblings, and she had a knife while they were fighting. When the police pulled up, they just saw her with a knife and shot the poor girl. So honestly, it's just, we're hoping for a change, but we're not really seeing any changes. It's really just disappointing that this is continue. We're just adding more and more names to the list of hashtags, unfortunately. So,
on to different news. This is the 5th year anniversary of Prince's passing, of his death. And several different people went on to their social medias just to pay commemorations. And that happened on Wednesday. Now, onto something a little lighter for Thursday.
So the biggest, happiest news for Thursday was LeVar Burton was finally announced as a guest host for Jeopardy after an online fan campaign. Ryan Reynolds was backing him, all this stuff. So some good news. The downside of Thursday was that the officer, I'm not even going to name her, but the officer that killed Botham Jean is requesting for her sentence to basically be reduced to negligent homicide, which would reduce her charges, get her out earlier. It's just a mess. This is part of the ongoing topic that we'll get to again. And then moving right along to Friday's big news.
Oh my God. So Friday. Honestly, I personally feel like this was unnecessary, but Caitlyn Jenner has announced her running for governor of California. She submitted paperwork, and we honestly don't really need it. And something else that we kind of don't need is plastic surgery on Zac Efron's face. like recent pictures have come about, and they show kind of like a filler filled. Think of The Weeknd, like The Weeknd when he first started, like his little face, his character. Zac Efron is giving some of that like heavy body right over here. I don't need it.
Yeah. I honestly, me neither. I wasn't for it, and on that was really all the big topics for the week. The topic of the week this week that me and Jay thought was pertinent, and that you guys probably realized by now from 4 out of the 5 days of this week, is racial injustice and whether or not we believe it. Like, we believe that actual change is happening. Okay, we got a guilty verdict for Derek Chauvin, which was merited even before the trial. But then, we have several other murders happening right before and right after.
So that's like the thing. A police officer was declared guilty of something that we all saw he do. Like, he did. He did this. He murdered him, and we all saw it, and we had a trial for it. So it's kind of like that whole action of it all kind of makes me feel like this was some sort of appeasement sort of thing. Like, let's throw him in there, let's arrest an officer for all the hundreds and thousands, or maybe not hundreds and thousands, but for all the 100 killings that a police officer does, and it's kind of like, to me, it's not justice yet, it's not. I think the whole police establishment, organization, sort of, not saying that we don't have someone to like help us out or patrol or something like that, but I think it needs to be abolished, and I think it needs reform.
It doesn't make sense. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of it, right? So we all know that the police institution as it stands was created as a slave patrol. Okay? So they still hold those same morals at their core. You understand? So without abolishing this, without getting rid of this, there is going to be no reform. You can't reform someone who is a serial killer and is telling you, if you let me out, I'm going to murder again. It's just not like, everybody's trying to be PC about certain things today, and I understand that the world is changing and we have to like respect everybody's differences. But when it comes to this, Black people are telling you, stop killing me. And there's so many other campaigns. Like, why is it even allowed for the Ku Klux Klan to exist? Like, they are a hate group. They are a terrorist group. They should literally, it should be illegal, period. And they have seen so many ties between people in high level positions within, the police system that are direct members of the KKK.
So,
and if this doesn't tell you like what the huge problem is, it's just, and the crazier part to me, and sorry to go on this whole little rant, but when they say about like reforming police and like adjusting the budget, they don't even say to like abolish police completely. They're literally just saying to minimize their budget. So we will still have police officers, they will still have their power, everything, whatever. They just won't have the money to now go out and kill people and settle the lawsuits out of court. Because that's where all of our money goes.
So, I agree with all of that. And you know what? Let's say, because sometimes like part of negotiation, part of business is I give you something, you give me something. There has to be an interchange. Fine, okay. We're not going to abolish the whole police institution, that whole thing. Fine, we're not getting rid of it. Then it needs to be reformed. Like, there are proof of different cities in the United States that have started establishing reforms within their police departments. For example, Newark, New Jersey has not had a homicide in a month. And that sounds crazy that like that's even a fact. But think about it. In the United States, since we started the year, we've had 147 killings. 147 killings. I don't even know the
Listen,
number that's like due to police officers, but I do believe that there has to be some form of reform, because
there's so many countries around the world that have, there's at least 19, I just Googled it, that do not allow the police to carry firearms. And among them are like the safest in the world. Like
New Zealand.
Iceland, New Zealand, Norway. Like, follow by example. They are, and honestly, they have other weapons. Not that they should have all these weapons, but they have the billy club or that nightstick that like extends. That's
and
like a metal bat. Tasers, like all this stuff they have, and it's just like, I don't know. It's so weird to me that like automatically they're like, oh my god, I'm threatened, let me shoot and kill this person.
What's like the craziest thing to me, more so than anything, it's like, why aren't these police officers having more training? Why aren't they getting vetted more? A lot of these officers, keeping it 1000%, because I currently live in a military city where I just hear about it. These guys that don't make it into the military, that don't rank, that fail for whatever mental illness they come about and are diagnosed, are taken immediately into the police force. Like, even if they do boot camp, that immediately gets them a spot. So it's like one of those situations where it's like, why isn't there more vetting? And why is it that a person of color, automatically the first instinct for them is to feel threatened and to shoot? Meanwhile, there was Kyle Rittenton. He had an AK-47.
Yeah, Rittenhouse.
And they gave him a hamburger. They gave him a Happy Meal. And like, he's still alive. He was armed. There are plenty of people of color that just get shot.
All of them. All the white people that they take in. All the serial killers, all the mass shooters that are white, they take in. It's really, there's no way to be bipartisan about it. To say, oh, well, and not always, or not all cops.
These are the facts. These are the facts.
Where it's continually happening, and it's happening at such a rate that, because even if you want to say, oh yeah, they're only going to report the bad cases, not the good cases or anything positive that happens with the police, and so you're oversaturated with the negativity, so it seems like whatever. But the fact that at least there's at least one a day, at least, and that's at least. There's usually more than that, which is insane.
There have been more killings than days in a year thus far. Like,
it's ridiculous. And honestly, part of our change with our show and everything, we're going to start trying to be more active. We're going to start reaching out to people and giving you guys information too, if you guys want to get involved, if you guys know anything and want to help us. Hey girl, like, we're going to figure it out. And honestly, guys, it's racial equity is really just about taking down these weird barriers that have been created through systemic racism, through just blatant racism, slavery, all these things, generational trauma, not giving, the opportunity or the chance for everyone to have a seat at the table now is just beyond ridiculous. That this is still a conversation. It's played, we need to stop talking about it and start doing it. So we are going to try and do our part.
And let me just tell you, part of doing your part is, if you feel like somebody else's existence or happiness threatens your being, then you need to reevaluate everything that's going on in your life and around you, because that's part of our constitutional right. Everyone has the pursuit of happiness. So,
okay.
What's going on?
But honestly, guys, we've been so excited. We have so many things coming for you guys. We're gonna get so much better with our formats and everything. We're gonna start having people introduced as far as like interviews and stuff for you guys.
We're gonna have
So
watch
stick with us.
parties. So
Yes, stick with us. Stay tuned. Stay happy. Stay safe. We love you guys so much.
love you all.